Wednesday. Ututu ọma. Daalụ nọ. Kekunu be. Voice on me. Ututu ọma now.
Ututu ọma ndị be anyị.
Hello, thank you very much. My name is Tijama Uche. It's a fresh day, and I'm here with AJ. AJ is Juluchukwu Okabwe.
Taka mbulu mazi biko tinye m ya mazi.
Mazi Okabwe. Okay, we'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll bring you press review. We already have our guests seated. Okay, welcome again. Joining us this morning to look at the front pages of the papers is Emma Elekwa. Emma Elekwa is a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Emma.
Good morning.
How are you?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay. It's a long time I have you here. I hope you'll be joining us frequently now.
I hope so.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, AJ, let's get to our website and begin from the beginning. The first story there says, Soludo inaugurates modern solution market bus terminal in Ekulobia.
Anambra State Government seals site of collapsed building in Onitsha.
Collapsed building again. Capacity building workshop for journalists on inclusive electoral reporting ends in Oka.
Insecurity. Protests rock Kwara State.
You may need to take the second one.
Fulham I, Nigeria International Tolu Arokodare for summer transfer.
Okay, Ukraine drone attack kills 3 people, injures 30 others in Russia. Very pathetic one there, and very, very unfortunate. Okay, these are many more other stories making the rounds in our website this morning. You go, you get details of this and other stories there as we look at one or two of them before we get to the pages of the newspapers. AJ.
Capacity building workshop for journalists on inclusive electoral reporting. Well, that will be ending today in Oka.
It hasn't ended because I was surprised when I read that one.
Yeah,
it hasn't
it
ended. We are still built for the for the training.
Actually, it was a very, very nice one talking about TAF Africa, seeking that collaboration with journalists to create awareness on the inclusiveness of people with disability in election. The INEC will definitely have their time to come and tell us why voting is more for the able-bodied and not much inclusiveness for people living with disabilities. The conference, the workshop was a very, very, impactful one. We all learned a whole lot of things, and
we're going to learn more today.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. That's for the journalists. Saying security protests rock Kwara State. Yes, you came back from Abuja yesterday. I don't know which route you took. Is it this one that you spent 13 or 14 hours on the road? That's through Enugu, or the other way?
Yeah, Lafia.
Okay, Lafia. So,
Kefi, yeah.
So, I don't know what prompted this one, because there has been insecurity all this while, and all of a sudden we saw this one that is happening in Kwara State. Is it peculiar to Kwara?
Yeah, I think what I saw in the newspaper this morning is they say it's as a result of terrorism, killings, and kidnapping. It's the usual thing.
It has become usual to us now.
Honestly, and that is also why I'm also worried that they are protesting, because protest, it's supposed to be a good thing. But in the Nigerian context, you agree with me that it's like an ill wind that blows nobody any good. Because who are you protesting for? I think they say because of the inaction of the state government over all of this. The persons that are protesting, I pity them. Because at the end of the day, you agree with me that nothing will come out of it. I'm not against protest.
No, that's not a good spirit. Otherwise, what is the essence of us complaining here? What is the essence of us even working? Okay, well, because we are here to talk to the leadership of this country that things are not working well. So protest is one of the ways to, express yourself.
Express your grievance.
Get me right. I didn't say that protest is, because at the end of the day, most times, if not all the times, these protests are hijacked. And by the time you know it, lives are lost. And innocent souls are wasted, because even those who are responsible for all of this will go free. And you now see those who are like protesting against all of this are the ones that will end up losing their lives. If you notice now, across the country, nobody is protesting. Is it that there is nothing to protest about? But especially the Southeast, they've discovered that they're always at loss. Anytime you protest, sometimes people are arrested, detained, and all of that. At the end of the day, nothing comes out of it. But that does not mean that we should not protest.
I know, because now today be Wednesday, ndi was Nigeria mbabu agalogo, as a matter of fact. So I can Let's look at number one story before we get to the papers, please. A Soludo inaugurates modern solution market bus terminal in Colombia. I was watching that during the this morning breakfast news. It was a big one, a very huge one for Colombia people. And somebody, was it their PG that said that, or their mayor, the mayor of Aguata, Colombia is in Aguata, right? Yes. Yeah, that said that this is unprecedented. There's nowhere you can find this kind of market in Anambra. I say, well, you have just lead the matches, because everybody will start demanding, or every other local government will demand for their own markets, okay? So you're going to give us our own, a replica of what we saw there. Yeah, what's your take on that?
It's good to also discover that there was a mammoth crowd.
Yeah.
In other words, the average Anambrian, loves what their governor is doing. Because the other day we were at Fun City. Actually, I went there. I didn't just go there as a journalist. I went there to catch fun too with my kids. And there was a crowd there. It was massive. Normally some of these things you have rented crowds. For a government that is not doing well, he will go and pick it. But these people, you see them, naturally they walked in there because they appreciate what the government is doing. I also want to commend the governor for this giant stride on the area of market. It's good that such market is established, also in a place like Ekulobia. Just like we said, I wish that it would be replicated in Nnewi, if can all of this, because whatever you do to the goose, you also do to the gander.
Very important.
Yeah.
AJ.
Well, let's see. We begin with the dailies, starting with this day newspaper. That's up first for review this morning. And the banner headline is screaming here: 2 Kano emirs join Tajuddin Dangote Sayu FG team in Medina to bury Aminu Dantata. And then we also have here: opposition coalition formally adopts ADC, unveils party interim ex today. And let's see what the riders are saying there. Mark is pro-10 national chair, Aregbesola secretary, Bolaji Abdullah spokesperson. And we have prominent PDP leaders urge members to join movement, says party APC have failed Nigeria. Declare nation a diminished country. Embarrassment on world stage. All of this for Nigeria. Well, on the front page, you still see President Tinubu commissioning Yusufa Buhari Area Council roads today. Seems Wike is doing marvelously well in road construction, but not doing so well in welfare of staff in Abuja.
Stomach infrastructure.
Okay, we'll move on now. Let's look at the other papers before we start talking. Okay, Punch newspaper is our newspaper this morning, and on the front page, a very busy front page, but I can't even take anything home from here. But let's see whether we can make sense out of what is here. 2027 crossfire, APC strikes back after Mark Lamido slammed Tinubu government. With a rider there, opposition alliance gains steam as Atiku coalition, SPDP governors and veterans join Mark bloc. Okay, as the outcome of the meeting that I had yesterday, we're going to look at that in full later. Okay, but up here, marketers snub Dangote's price cut, return high fuel cost. Nigerians are impossible. Can you imagine? Okay, so you don't want a respite for us. You just want us to be buying it at that very high cost. Okay, I think that's all we have coming from here. Yeah, AJ, the next paper.
The next paper for review this morning is the Vanguard newspaper. And then we have worsening abductions, killings, Boko Haram's renewed attacks, orders alarming. That's coming from the Sultan. And then we also have oil production, federal government to withdraw license offense with dormant oil fields. When we still have a president's commissioning project in Abuja.
Okay, Daily Independent is next, please. Daily Independent, Atiku, Marx, Secondus, PDP bigwigs asks members, Nigerians, to join coalition. Okay, let's look at the riders there. Say APC government is now a disaster, must be voted out. And then indices of development have collapsed. Life now held in Nigeria. Coalition, not threat to APC, says Dalori, ruling party's acting chairman. Other stories coming from the Daily Independent. Infrastructure is most persuasive advertisement of leadership. This is coming from Tinubu. AKK gas pipeline, NNPC announces successful crossing of River Niger. French government doles out 38 million pounds for ICT, million euros, please, for ICT infrastructure in 10 Nigerian varsities. Tinubu names former Nasarawa Governor Al Makura, both chairman of UBEC. Wow. Dangote's initiative will stimulate economic growth, energy experts. And down here, INEC set to release new guidelines for what? On reviewing declared results, whatever. Okay, these are many more of the stories we have here, but let's get to talk AJ. Let's first of all look at what is going on with the big boys in Nigerian politics. That's the Tikus, the David Mark, P2B, El-Rufai, a whole lot of them that had wanted to form alliance, whatever. Them all, whatever, ADA, okay, and then that one didn't work because INEC refused to register. They now move. Of course, they started with the SDP, and then the SDP said, no, don't come here and corrupt us who want to remain where we are. So they left and wanted to form this one. INEC said no, they now move over to ADC. That's what we just got yesterday, as they met to form a formidable coalition against 2027 elections. So, what's your take on that?
Okay, it's a funny country. The other day I was at the journalist lunch. I remember a similar thing came up, and I did say that the problem of these big wigs in the country, these politicians, is not establishing political parties, forming coalition. My take, the challenge there is who will flag the party's, who will fly the party's flag? Who is the flag bearer?
Oh, well, they've started by constituting, what do you call it?
No, they will.
Like David Mark is going to be the chairman of the party. Arebo Shala is going to be the secretary. Now it's left for them to pick a flag bearer, presidential flag bearer.
That is what I'm asking. I said we have seen it happen in the past. You know, anytime there is it's just like APC in the state. There were about 5 billionaires, you recall, before the primaries. And I was like, how I wish these people can agree among themselves and bring one person. And the others will now use their billions and support him. Definitely, it might be an easy thing to defeat the incumbent. But what played out? We are all in this state to now see how all of them disappeared like a, you know, and abandoned the man that is the flag in the flag.
So what do you think that happened?
So
what do you think that happened?
I don't know, but definitely it is always a challenge in political parties. I even discovered that P2B is not in that list. I observed that, or was it deliberate? Because For Atiku, Mark, Secondus, and all of these persons to be there without P2B.
Peter was there.
Okay, but his name did not appear in the but it's supposed to have been appeared there. So the point I'm making is, after all of this, okay, look at Ada. They ran away from there. What I read.
So Ada is not
morning,
registered. INEC refused
no,
to register.
no, it's not even INEC thing now. There were 2 others.
Yes.
And the
Alliance
confusion with,
and the all.
and I also want to believe that the ruling APC is also, their hand might likely be in all of this.
I asked you what happened to the other millionaires. They say you don't know.
If they allow them to have their way, definitely it will be a problem. So they keep on putting some of these stumbling blocks to make sure that they don't have their way. And this ADC too might, if they don't take their time, because Atiku has always insisted that he will be the, and somebody is saying, Atiku at this age, I hope people will still want to vote him. And considering how many times he has been a serial contender.
No, I think what we're looking at now is that this slot, this present dispensation is for the South. Okay?
Yes.
So the 8 years is for the South. So we are struggling for the soul of the remaining 4 years.
Okay.
And it must be a Southerner that will take it. Otherwise, it means you are returning
but
presidency back to the North.
Atiku might not agree.
If he doesn't agree, that means they will fail. All of them will fail, put together. It's simple.
Well,
it's a simple permutation.
This is what plays out when people jettison
collective
collective benefit for their selfish interest.
Exactly.
It is just playing out. The caricature image that is painted in my mind is just seeing people with leaves. You understand? You can imagine the size of our politician now with leaves protecting yourself from the downpour of the rain.
Umbrella.
Not even umbrella, with leaf. Now scampering to get into place for shelter. That's what's playing out here. Because if you're nationalistic in nature, in thinking, in ideology, first and foremost, what you should be clamoring for is INEC reform. Because whatever party you form with this thing that we have as INEC, you're going nowhere. So first and foremost, what I think they should be clamoring for is the reform of the INEC. That is the first thing to do. Because that transparency was not there in 2023.
Who will do the reform?
That's what I'm saying. So now, with the way things are going, don't you think that all this formation of party, there and there, alliance, coalition, it's not going to bear any fruit? It's not going to bear any fruit. To me, I see it as a movement for wasting money. But since the money was ill-gotten, it's definitely going to still go the same way.
Of course.
Well, no, in that case, now what I'm looking at is the situation whereby if you ask INEC to, if you want INEC to be reformed, everything is still lying between INEC and the executive. And if the executive feels that what is in INEC will favor them, there's no way they will allow the reform.
Exactly.
Okay? So now, I think these men have come together.
INEC is not the case of executive knowing that. INEC have what their guidelines. They didn't adhere to the guidelines last election. It's as simple as that.
And why did they not?
It's as simple as that. Now, you went to court as stated that go to court if you agreed. And they go to court, and the court was telling them INEC has the jurisdiction, the capacity to decide whichever way they want to conduct their election.
So what do you think?
That's why they are independent.
Where I'm going.
You understand? Can you allow me to say this?
Please.
Yeah, go ahead.
INEC before, we had NEC, we had NECO, their nomenclature.
Yeah.
This INEC came as a result of what we're talking about. Because this independent National Electoral Commission came to make them independent. But how independent they are, you and I know.
Of course.
And the ruling party will not just allow these
independent nomenclature to
play out.
Even
the judiciary, these are all expected to do their jobs, but they have also been dictated.
How can you do when the executive is in charge of appointing the INEC chairman? So if this INEC chairman decides to do the reform, the president will remove him and put another person.
Of course.
So in a situation where you find yourself in such a situation, I think what they want to do now, these political big boys, what they want to do now is to if you can't beat them, you join them. So they know the game. They've been in the game. They know what, because all of them, they are from PDP to APC to all the parties in the world. No ideology, no nothing, just moving for where they will get what they want. So they know what is what to expect from the INEC. I want to believe that they are ready for that. One of them has said that they are going to be in sleep with INEC. If they don't do the right thing, then
okay, now let's see what we have in the Daily Independent. INEC said to release new guidelines on reviewing declared results. Is this the transformation we're talking about? Certainly not.
No, you called for it.
You understand? Certainly
you called for transformation, and I give it to you. They've got the first one where they said that you may not need your voter's card to vote this time around.
You understand?
And now they're breaking another one.
I don't see any miracle happening in all of this thing, because if the president, when he was outside, was able to do what he did, trust the power of incumbency now. I don't know whether that is enough to... Let's not talk about this, because we are Nigerians, unless some of you came from the United States of America.
Okay, quickly, let's go to The Guardian. The Guardian is up. Okay, the Daily Trust newspaper is up next for review this morning. Ahead of ADC's meeting today, Atiku woos PDP leaders to coalition. How we can transform livestock sector into modern business. That's coming from the minister. Military kills 10 terrorists at Nigeria-Cameroon border. And also we have here, INEC proposes fresh guidelines for review of election results. Dan Tata buried in Saudi Arabia. Then we have Dan Bokolo, the rise and fall of a bandit warlord. Wow.
Is he dead?
Well, for him to have risen and fallen.
The dead body now.
Lagos traditional ruler dethroned 6th chief for impersonating him at LP campaign. That's all we have for you on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. And
coming up next is the Guardian newspaper. On the front page of Guardian newspaper, 2027, Northern PDP leaders settle on ADC as preferred coalition platform. Aww. Okay, and down here we have other stories. So, Obi flays St. Lucia's highest honor, Knight Commander title on Tinubu. Wow. Ref's tickets may cost 500 million naira. Okay. Post-election litigation, 1 billion naira. Okay, are you warming up? On the government's quest to probe Akeredolu's death sparks controversy. And then, what else do we have here? Rivers, Lagos, worst hit as court clashes claim 1,686 lives in 5 years.
Wow.
Omokri places 3 million naira bounty on ex-users threatening Obi's wife and children. What's wrong with that guy? He needs rehabilitation. Operators demand tariff increase to save off 6 trillion naira gas debt. And then the Guardian relaunches Guardian Angels. Okay, that's for your business. Yeah.
Up next, the Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune is next for review. And then we have President Tinubu still commissioning Shafa Buhari Area Council roads today. And then we have controversy trails Ondo government's planned inquest into Akeredolu's death. Atiku, David Mark, Tambowa, Lamido, others want PDP collapsed into coalition.
Sure.
That's all we have for you.
Okay, and the last paper is Nation paper. I don't think we'll have anything coming from the Nation paper. For once of time, let's run. Yes. Which of the stories will you want to look at?
The commissioning of projects or road projects in FCT. Yeah, give it to, Wike. He's doing well. He's doing well, but as much as also is possible, like I said before, some of these things also need to be replicated. Yes, the last time I checked, he was given a kind of free hand to operate. Like this is a TSA thing. Mr. President said, don't bother, don't. He's the only one, I'm not, if I'm not correct, I'll be corrected, that doesn't have that bottleneck. So maybe one will not be surprised why he's doing all of the things he's doing. So if other ministers or governors, because he's a governor of his state, of a city, as it were, will also be given such a, opportunity or enabling environment, maybe they will be able to, because I just came back from Abuja, like I said, and I observed some of these things happening in FCT. But once you leave, in fact, within FCT, there are still bad roads. And as you are leaving, getting towards, Lokoja, Kogi, these are death traps. And if we continue to do all these this in FCT, because you know that's where most of these investors, foreigners, come and enjoy themselves and leave these other states. I don't think we're doing ourselves any good. So I want to appeal that Mr. President should also, I don't know why these governors are not doing what they ought to do. Maybe they are being starved of funds, I don't know. Or maybe the funds they are giving is not enough. Or maybe somebody is siphoning the money. I'm thinking that...
Are you talking about roads infrastructure or general infrastructure?
No. I think it's all about roads that Wike is concentrating now. Because most of these...
take you to Abuja federal road now. So maybe that could be what the minister needs to liaise with the president in order to release more funds. Okay.
Or along these, yes. But the governors also have a role to play because they also need to also, plead with or have an interface with the minister, whoever.
Because the road crossed their states.
Because our governor, he also agreed that this road leading to Onitsha, he has played a role there to make sure that he's ongoing. Even the one going towards Amansi. Some of these things, you don't leave it only for the minister. The governor in charge needs to also attract the federal government attention.
You lobby.
Lobby. That's
you lobby. What Tinubu said here, I might just buttress what we are saying, that is all about infrastructure. Even if we are dying, it doesn't concern anybody. Even if the terrorists are invading this country, it doesn't concern. He said that infrastructure is the most persuasive advertisement of leadership. That's what Tinubu said.
Can you imagine that?
Infrastructure, build roads, then forget about whether they're dying or they're living.
One is hungry and is also
one is dying in the hands of terrorists. Let's look at what's going on in the oil industry. There's somewhere we saw, I don't know the paper where we saw that the market has shown Dangote's price cut and insists on the old price. And on the Daily Independence now, we see this one that says AKK gas pipeline, NNPC announces successful crossing of River Niger. Okay, so let's view our oil industry, what exactly is going on there. The other day we were talking about NNPC that is just there, answering them. You're not bringing anything to the table. Not paying salaries. You're not doing anything. You're making your money and consuming your money. And now Dangote wants to come and give them a run for their lives. And everybody's resisting because they're used to the corrupt way of what they do with NNPC Limited or whatever. Where are they? So what's your take on all this?
I think there was a time they were also calling NNPC towers the corrupt towers, if I still remember. And this is still the bane of all of the things we are seeing. Because if the head is rotten or is bad, definitely it's going to affect the body. When Dangote came up, we are rejoicing. We are like, our Savior has come. For how many years now? It's like we are still where we are, if not that we are going back. And I'm also looking at it. Why is it that the NNPC has so much powers that they will not be able, nobody will be able to what's it called now?
Audit?
Not really auditing now. Unbundle, yes.
It's because the president is the minister.
Exactly. So that's the APC way of doing things. Buhari was the minister.
Minister for petroleum. So are you going to challenge?
These are people that know nothing about
that sector.
So how do you expect?
And the people that you cannot challenge, you can't ask questions.
And unbundling. You understand?
I'm also looking at it that some of these, because when the leaders in NNPC, if they decide to do the needful. Because when you keep maybe oiling the palms of these our leaders, it contributes to some of these things. Instead, what they call it now, table manners. Don't talk while you are eating. You understand my point now? These people, they already have something in their mouth, so that's why it's kind of difficult for them to talk, because they are already eating. So if these ones, yes, the president is the organ there, but there are still other ways that they can find a way to make sure that the needful is done, unless they are happy with what the average Nigeria is passing through. Yes, they buy their fuel and they have where they buy free of charge. They don't feel this pain we are feeling. But I don't know. Let's keep watching and see what Dangote. But what can Dangote alone do? Another thing.
That's it. Especially when he's being stifled because the cabals will not let him breathe.
Yes, he's just one person, and discussing Nigerian problem
gives you a headache.
Let's see what the Tribune is talking about, where you have Atiku, David Mark, Tambowa, Lamido, others wanting PDP to collapse into this coalition you're talking about. Probably they are thinking that APC did the same with CPC, a fraction of AD, a fraction of ABGA, and some part of PDP to now have this APC that we have today. So they are thinking that, well, if we come up, pull our might together, we might wrestle, power from APC.
Does it really work like that?
But it worked in 2015.
There's an adage, funny one. They say, barb me the kind of hair you barb the Sonny. The question, your hair and that of Sonny, is it the same? That it worked for the ruling party when they collapsed into one.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it will work for this set of people. And I'm still saying it. This, like you also rightly pointed out, this selfish interest of these politicians will not lead them to anywhere. As long as they don't have the interest of the common man at heart. Yeah. Once they come together now and agree that they are going to, the person that will be their presidential candidate is where I have a challenge. If they will agree, definitely they will be able to make progress in all of this. But when, like I said, somebody like Atiku, if he can agree, accept to allow somebody else who maybe the Nigerians have in acceptance to. I don't want to be particular about P2B. Let it not be as if it's because it's from outside. But in the circumstance, from all indications, the way he's accepted, in fact, the other day I was watching, in the north, he would just be walking, he would just be, they accept him there. I'm not particular about Southeast because definitely we accept him. But the way he walks freely, it dines with all of these persons.
Are you sure
it's very difficult.
Accept him? Are you sure you start
okay, maybe are we watching is it a film or I don't know.
It's not
what we saw.
It's not. Yeah. That is what you saw. But Nigerian politics is different.
Okay, no, I was actually looking at the prophet Asomonya because when you say that.
Okay, in the southeast. Okay. No, definitely is at least I went with him to Onitsha the day he some shops were burnt. I was there, and I was so surprised. I can't even remember if P2B made any pronouncement as per how much he's going to give. But these traders were so excited. Obi was going, they were still shouting.
That's
another politician try that thing and see what happens.
There are people with this kind of charisma, you can't take it away from them.
He just, but how I wish they allow him, I don't know whether.
Talking about Obi, let's look at this. Obi fled St. Lucia's highest honor knight commander title on Tinubu. When they say knight, I think it has something to do with the church. Okay, is there any other knight that is not not categorized? No. How are you guys laughing at me?
The one that is even baffling me was the one that Obi said that he had not slept in any state across the country for the first time. And somebody now asked, where did he get that statistics? Because it's also possible that Mr. President must have slept one of these states outside Lagos that he's not aware.
What
I
is
think that Obi has been following because he said that with all boldness that why would he spend such time,
St. Lucia.
And in his country he has not
Slept.
that became another matter for discussion. It's interesting.
Okay, so that's it. I don't understand. I know he's a Muslim, but when I heard night, I know that one is attached to Christianity. I don't understand what's going on.
No, he's not Nigerian. I mean, we're trying to...
Okay, well, before we go, let's look at this thing. Tickets, rush tickets may cost 500 million naira. And then if you want to go to court, you pay 1 billion. Post-election litigation. 1 billion. So what do you even pay the 1 billion to? You post it if you want to go to court because you cheated me out of the election and I pay 1 billion before I take you to court. Was that what it means?
That's more like to tell
so
you
who
that
do I pay to? To INEC?
Accept the verdict.
Can you imagine?
That's what it means. That's gagging you.
Beating you to it.
You understand? That's gagging you. That's telling you that you have no limit. Now,
yesterday we were talking about this money. Somebody was asking why can't a physically challenged person come out and vie for election? And the facilitator was asking, where will he get the money? Some of them are rich. Give it to them. And then even if he does, what about the other people that he's running with? Okay, as being he's physically challenged, maybe visual impaired or whatever, and a whole lot of things. But the bottom line is the money. So
when
why
you're spending
this?
50 million
Why
to
this
get
cost?
tickets?
No, but I give it to the government. I know that women, there's always a waiver. Some of these persons that don't have this thing, they are encouraged to come out, and by the time they said they have waived or given them subsidized this thing, these persons, I think they can also be allowed.
Are you sure about this? Because if there are so many people with disability, persons living with disability, that have the capacity to run this nation. Roosevelt was on wheelchair, and he was the president of America. So we have people, it's all about your intellectual ability.
Have you tried coming out before?
Because the money is already a
When
barrier.
America beat their chest and say nobody rules America from the wheelchairs. Yes.
He still did. Yes, he still did. So it's all about, first and foremost, the system will definitely be conducive enough. We'll see you as inclusive citizen, part of them, for them to even give you a chance. Like the narration one the facilitator gave, that he was just she was having a conversation with somebody, just because of the organization she's representing. The person, having not seen her, has already taken that notion that, okay, she's disabled. You understand? So that is the mind frame. That is what they were trying to change it. But now, talking about political sphere, the Nigerian political scene, there is a whole lot. Now, somebody was even asking, isn't it enshrined in our constitution? Why are women not even coming out for these elected positions? How often do you see women come out to vote or be voted for?
Because they don't have 500 million naira.
I know you were going to say, but outside that, let me tell us, from the little research, if I will use that word I've done, women don't even like themselves. That's the bitter truth.
Yeah.
You recall Sarah Jibrin?
You're right.
She got one vote.
I know.
One?
And that one vote automatically is her own. So
were there female delegates? That's the question you need to ask yourself.
Which?
Even her campaign manager. Let me shock you again. There was a time where, I think it was Gowon, our former head of state, was advocating for
women inclusion.
Women priesthood in the Anglican Communion. That was when the Oko, our primate, was the primate, yeah. So it was laudable. So when Oko was to respond, he said, His Excellency, I really appreciate what you said, actually, concerning these. But we have tried to sample opinion of the women. We distributed questionnaires. But guess what? These same women say they don't want. I don't know whether I'm getting it. So they say prefer the men to be in charge. So politically, too, they are saying if any woman wants to,
I do you agree to
and they are like saying, what are you doing there?
Women don't like women. It's as simple as that.
Women don't like women.
No, they don't.
So why do you go about campaigning that you are being marginalized, you're being this, you're not allowing this?
Did you see me in the campaign?
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your gender.
But that's what it's like. No, women is born out of envy and jealousy. Nothing. Why must it be her? Why not me? Then ask her to go. You know, I can't go because I don't have. I'm insufficient there and there. Then encourage the person that wants to go. No, she must not. All of us will remain in this ground.
And they are the ones that have the larger. You know, they are
all of us will remain on this ground.
I mean that they come out.
The population of the world is even tilting towards women now.
Women
men are depleting every day. Men go to war. Men are in reverend fathers and the rest of it.
You know, men have the same notion. It's like that. But the problem is that you now have women population supporting men. If you allow men to ask you who will go among three men here, everybody wants to go. That's what the problem we have in Anambra or in Igbo land generally. Everybody wants to go. So something like that. But then the population of women now will not support whoever that is out to go. Otherwise, men may not even vote men too. So don't say women don't like women.
No.
You guys don't like yourselves too.
Okay, quickly, let's wrap up on this one story that before we now call it a day. We are talking about worsening abductions, killings, Boko Haram, renewed attack orders, alarming. No, for Boko Haram and all this ISWAP and the rest of it all insurgents to be having renewed attacks. So what is the intelligence gathering of our NSA?
One keeps wondering why all these things are happening. Even this issue of kidnapping. You talk about NIN, Abi?
Yeah.
Talk about BVN, and all of that. Why are we doing all these things if we can't track
a single soul out of men that will come on by in their numbers?
Century.
Don't forget that.
Something is wrong somewhere, my brother. I don't know why these things are difficult for us to handle. Why is it that these Boko Haram are getting upper hand? Why are they always in charge? In fact, most times you see our our military being on the defense instead of
attack,
offensive. It's only when they attack, you now see them come out and to do this. You see that they are more sophisticated. Where are they getting all these?
No, the question is,
if the army or the security agencies are not sophisticated enough, how do they even rescue their own? They don't have what to rescue with.
That's a problem. They say the upper hand the non-state actors have is intel gathering.
Which the state government, federal government also have.
Intel gathering. Most times, when they want to strike, little or nobody knows about their strike. They just strike and then the next thing they do.
You know the question we keep asking. Are they spirits? And you know they do this group thing. A group of men like 50, 60, 70 men on bike, trucks. You know, with their AK-47 cross and moving, no single soul will see them. What do you need intelligence for? You can throw stone, you can throw knife, you can use machete. Do you understand? You don't need intelligence to say that. Look at this, we are moving. Don't you know who they are? So sometimes they do us. If the more you look, the less you see in this country. You don't understand what's going on, and they will invade a community. Clear the whole community and left unhurt. Nobody will be picked, nobody will be arrested, nothing will happen to them. They won't lose a single soul and they will go. Tomorrow you go and arrest innocent people and tell us that you're arrested.
I was going there because they say nobody will be arrested. They've been arrested. But who are you arresting? Last time it was after Mr. President visited. What's it called?
We saw 43 people arrested.
He gave instructions.
Arresting young guys.
He left the arrested. So
who are they?
You need the president to give instruction before you do the arrest.
And at the same time, you're telling
me. No, the people you arrested, the culprits.
That's what I'm saying. They just organize some and say, please, so that we can satisfy the president. All of you go there. At the end of the day, discover that these are not the culprits. These are not.
Very funny.
I mean, personally, I don't like discussing some of these things because they are irritating.
Sorry. Sorry, we have irritated you this morning. We will do it again. Or we have agitated you. Sorry. Thank you very much for coming. Please, you will come again. We are a journalist, so we keep talking. We are paid to talk, whether anybody is hearing or not. You keep talking. That's why we are here. Okay, we are trained to talk because some of us are not even paid. Okay, so thank you very much, Ima Lekwa. You're a journalist and a public affairs analyst. Thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you for allowing me.
Okay, incidentally, that's where we're doing the cutting on today's edition of our press review to make way for other segments that will come after this one. AJ, what do we have coming next?
Up next is the discussion segment, and don't go anywhere because we have something very interesting we want to discuss about. The show continues after that.
Okay, thank you. Double command.